tell you why Russell Vought is the most dangerous man in the current administration. My name's Lisa Davis. I am the trusted banker and I teach people how to build generational wealth using banking products and services. Now, Vought is the guy in charge of the Office of Management and Budget. This may sound boring, but don't be fooled. He controls the money, the rules, and the strategy behind almost every federal agency. And what he's doing right now is nothing short of a quiet financial war against consumers. Since January 2025, since Trump appointed him and under his leadership, the CFPB, the one agency created after the 2008 financial crisis to protect people like you and me, has been systematically dismantled. Let me break down what's happening. Credit card late fees, the CFPB tried to cap them to stop the abuse. A Texas court struck it down, and the CFPB agreed to drop it under Vought. Overdraft protection reform, Congress reversed it, Vought dropped it. COVID-19 mortgage protections, gone. Open banking rule that would have given you more control over your financial data, Voight's team is trying to take that away too. The CFPB even tried to regulate data brokers, the folks selling your personal info to third party. That rule withdrawn thanks to Vought. And here's the kicker. The CFPB tried to say discrimination can be an unfair financial practice, not just in lending, but across services like banking and insurance. Vought ended the fight and abandoned that effort completely. Then, Vought withdrew 67 guidance documents. That's 67 roadmaps that told banks what's fair, what's not, and how to avoid breaking the law. Gone. Now companies can say, well, there was no guidance, so we didn't know. See the pattern? This isn't about streamlining government. This is not about helping businesses comply more easily. This is about protecting corporations from accountability, and it's happening fast. And it's not just Vought, it's part of a larger plan. These rollbacks line up perfectly with the financial industry's newest legal strategy, claiming freedom of speech when caught redlining or discriminating or misleading customers. They're saying it's their right to target who they want, how they want, and say whatever they want in ads, even if it's deceptive. And if you think that's bad, it gets worse. Because today, June 27, 2025, the CFPB just issued a new policy under Executive Order 14294, signed by President Trump, that could further weaken their power to hold wrongdoers accountable. So let me explain what that means and why it matters to you. We're going to talk about what just happens. On May 9th, 2025, President Donald Trump signed Executive Order 14294 called Fighting Overcriminalization in Federal Regulations. So this sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. This order could gut the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau on purpose. And that's exactly what people like Russell Vought wants. He's been very public. He wants to dismantle the CFPB completely. And now he's got a playbook to do it. Here's how this new order works. It forces agencies like the CFPB to go line by line and explain which of their regulations could result in criminal penalties. They have to write it down, they have to report it to the government, and they have to publish it publicly. Now, you might be thinking, well, if a rule could get you locked up, it should be clear. Sure, but this isn't about protecting people. It's about tying the hands of regulators so they can't protect you. So let me give you an example. The CFPB recently caught Capital One engaging in a bait and switch scheme, and they moved people from interest-bearing savings account to non-interest-bearing ones without telling them so they could avoid paying the interest those customers earn. Thousands of accounts, zero interest was paid. Now, under this executive order, the CFPB would have to prove in advance on paper that this exact kind of scam, which had never been done before, could lead to criminal penalties. How? It hadn't even happened yet. That's the trap. The rule is designed to make it harder to punish corporations for wrongdoings, especially new schemes, because unless the CFPB can say ahead of time, this exact thing is a criminal offense, they may not be able to enforce it. And that's the plan. Meanwhile, big corporations are now using freedom of speech as a legal shield, even in cases of discrimination, redlining, and profiling. They're arguing that how they market, who they target, and what they say to you is protected speech, even if it's misleading or racist. So here's the question: how do we protect consumers when regulators can't act unless they predict every scam in advance? How do we hold banks accountable if the rules must be spelled out like criminal codes with exact intent, exact wording, and exact penalties in advance? This is not about clarity. This is about power. Because here's the reality: if you lie on a loan application, the government can fine you or throw you in jail. But when banks do the lying about fees, rates, terms, or account conditions, they get a warning, maybe a fine, and now they might get off entirely. This order shifts the power back to big finance and strips protection from consumers. So if you're watching this and you've ever had a bank fee that didn't make sense, a savings account that didn't earn what it promised, or a loan you couldn't understand, you need to know this: they are working overtime to make sure regulators can't touch them. And Executive Order 14294 by Trump, upheld by Voight, is their shield. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and if you're a voter, ask who's fighting for your financial protection and who's quietly erasing it.